So the first set of Unrivaled ratings are in, and it's been kind of grim. And by kind of grim, I mean really, really grim. If you are Unrivaled, this is if these are your ratings every single week on True TV, it's not the biggest disaster in the world, because by the looks of things, these True TV ratings were similar enough to what they were a year ago. Similar enough to what they were a year ago. That being said, the fact that the Rose and Lunar Elves on the primetime slot on TNT had, I don't think this is 40,000 viewers, because I think this is the NA is the actual viewers. I think this is like the ratings numbers. I think this is in and around 100,000 viewers, which isn't good. Last year it was, am I right in saying last year? Was last year at 1.0? No, last year it was 0.1. 0.1. So it is a 60. So last year, 0.1 was 280,000, as far as I'm aware. At the same time, 0.4 is that minus 60%. That being said, it's still over 100,000 viewers, but this is on national TV. Like that is grim. That is genuinely grim. Like, I'm gonna be honest here. Like, that is a not ideal number for Unrivaled, especially because it's game one. Like, we know that last year Unrivaled dropped as it went on, and then obviously it like the 1v1 competition did okay. The playoffs had worse views in the regular season. And that's one of the big problems, is that people don't care about this. I mean that when I say that. It's like, I watched it. In general, people don't care. Unless you are a hardcore. It's so funny, people on Twitter being like, oh, Fever fans saying they wouldn't watch Unrivaled. It's like, one, there's Fever players playing, and two, like, if you are literally talking about women's basketball on Twitter, or your social media is based on women's basketball, you realistically are enough into women's basketball to watch Unrivaled. And the problem is unless you are in that target audience, it's absolutely, like, you're just not going to watch. Unless you are in the absolute, like, peak of their audience, unless you are in the hardcore fan audience of women's basketball, you're not going to watch. Why? Because this league is, let's be real, this league is gimmick ball. It is nearly unwatchable. It is nearly unwatchable. Like, we had foul baiting. We had Kelsey Plum taking the piss. We had, in fairness, Chelsea Gray absolutely just like destroying an opponent. We had Marina Mabry shoot 1 of 12 from 3 while looking like she was going to fight. We had everything that could have went wrong. I mean it. Like, everything that could have went wrong, when it came down to it, went wrong. So, look, it's not ideal. Again, look, these numbers are going to get a lot lower. Like, a lot of people are saying 40,000 views. It's not that, as far as I'm aware. As far as I'm aware, it's not 40,000. But it seems like it is in and around 100, just over 100,000. Maybe 120,000, which on TNT is lower than any of season 1. And Paige Bueckers is the only chance of saving this league. But, like, people don't really care. Like, it's like saying if the big three brought in, if the big three allowed NBA players to play, would that many people be watching the big three? No. Genuinely no. It is one of those things where it is gimmick basketball. People don't care about 3-on-3. No offense to the owners of Unrivaled. People don't care about 3-on-3 at all. And, like, where's the rest of the chart? Dead on arrival. Like, and the fact is, like, their ratings last year, I literally made a video being like, Unrivaled ratings aren't great, but they're not bad either. And I stood by that. They weren't great, but they weren't bad. They were fine. They were absolutely fine. They were. I would not have considered those ratings to be great. I would also not have considered the ratings last year to be bad at 280k. 120k for game one when Paige Bueckers is playing, and there's no ratings for the morning session, which, by the way, at one stage in the middle of the first game of Unrivaled, the middle of the first game of Unrivaled, at 6 p.m. or at 8 p.m. or 7 p.m. Central European time. So the perfect time for people in Europe to watch, outside of, and obviously outside of America for YouTube. There were 500 people. There were 500 people watching the first game of Unrivaled this season. I understand that the first night was the real first game. There were 500 people. There were 500 people. In the middle of the game. Not before the game, not into the stream. In the middle of the game, there were 500 people watching. The live stream, and by the way, to say that Paige is not the biggest draw, Paige is the only draw in this league. Paige is the only draw in this league. Like, she's the only draw, because at least it goes up to, when Paige plays 0.04, it goes up to that. Because it may be sub 100k. Not even maybe, it is sub 100k. When Paige wasn't playing on TNT. It was sub 100k. Like, it is genuinely grim. The whole thing, like, it is, it's madness. It's absolutely madness. And if we're being real, like, the league has one draw. Losing Breanna, losing Angel Reese is huge. Because nobody cares. Like, last year, Angel Reese was taunting people. She was getting 16 and 16 in 8 minutes on the floor, and her team was winning. When they were losing, Fee was getting it into it with Angel Reese. When, like, she ended up rightfully making an all-Unrivaled team. Depoy is a weird one because no one plays defense in this league. But she rightfully made an all-Unrivaled team because she cared. She cared. She wanted to just go at it with the other team. And she's at least an interesting story. But now we're talking about a bunch of UConn people saying that Paige Bueckers is the new Kawhi Leonard, and Candace Parker being like, slow down. And now they're just attacking Candace Parker for basically saying, slow down, she's not Kawhi yet. It's like when they attack Candace Parker for saying, slow down, Angel Reese isn't in MVP convos, when her team's been fucking second last 2 years in a row. But yeah, it is what it is. This is not good viewing for Unrivaled. And look, it's not gonna, I'm not saying Unrivaled is not going to get re-upped on a TV deal, but it kind of reminds me, the viewership number of Unrivaled feels like Unrivaled is almost like TNA wrestling. That a load of people thought, you know what, the WWE, there's potential. There is potential for something to compete with the WWE. We're going to throw in loads of money. We're going to lose loads of money over a couple of years, and then it's 2012, and we're like, oh shit, that Hulk Hogan, Eric Bischoff, and all the money we've thrown in has not done well. This has been an absolute disaster. So yeah, we're effectively going to pull the plug on this, and we're going to become Impact Wrestling. Like, it just reminds me of something like TNA wrestling, where it's just not quite the same. There's a lot, and I mean a lot of things with when it comes down to it, that Unrivaled needed to succeed. And the biggest of all, as much as people want to say Caitlin Clark is absolutely, for me, Caitlin Clark is the biggest thing it needed to succeed short term. The biggest thing it needed to succeed long term was to go 5-on-5. We're at worst. Instead of adding in 2 extra teams for no reason, you go 4-on-4 this year, and then you add in the extra players to go 5-on-5 next year. So then you have six teams. You have 60 players, 10 players per team, 6 teams. And I don't even know what the development players in Unrivaled are. Every single team had an injured player. Not one developmental player played. So what the hell are you doing? Are you just paying them to sit there? Are you just paying them to sit there and not fill in? Not be emergency players? Are they being paid just to sit there and practice? I have no idea. And some of those Unrivaled developmental players literally left their overseas teams for that. But anyway, yeah, I'll see you guys.